Hi everyone. Today we'll be discussing about arrays in Golang. What is an array? Array is a collection of values which belongs to same type. Here type can be primitive types of Golang or can be any composed types as well. So it can be string, int, um, boolean. For now, what we'll do is we'll create a main package, basically main function as well. So let's create it. Inside this main function, let's create a array. To create array, we can use this syntax where I'm going to create a variable which is named as a and of type array. Array you have to array declaration should be in this format where you are trying to have element of particular type, right? List of elements of particular type. Now what is the type you wanted to create? Let's say I want to hold three integers. Then this is how you declare that array with three integers. Let's try to print this. Alright, let me run. So this is what called zero values in Golang. Basically, every type has a default zero value for it. In case of integers, it is zero. In case of string, it is like just empty or empty bracket or empty string. In case of boolean, it's false, right? So because we are, so basically what does this three denotes is we wanted three blocks in the memory to be allocated to this variable, that is where our values will be stored. Now what we'll do, we'll try to assign some values to this particular array. Let's say I want to assign some value at the index 0 of that particular array, because we have to assign a value of type integer, let's say 1, and also I want to uh, update the second element, also third element. If we see, we have started index from 0. That is how most of the languages work, where basically array starts with 0 and ends with n minus 1. If this is n, and index size would be n minus 1. Okay, now let's try to print this. Now if you see, it printed 1 2 3 as we have assigned them here, right? This is one way of doing it. Let's see what happens if we have 4 here, right? And if we don't initiate like assign values. So because of 0 values in Go, the fourth will become by default 0. Okay, basically that is what happened. How now next we'll see. I'll revert back to 3 for now, and let's see how can I access a particular element. If you want to access any particular key, you can use this format array and its index. So in this case, this will be the syntax. Let me run it. Now if we see, it gives us 3. That is what there at the index level 0 1 2, right? And we'll talk about a concept of initialization. Here we are declaring a variable, here we are assigning a variable. There are cases where you might have to initialize, which basically declare and initialize with values, right? So I'll remove this. I want to create a variable a of type array of int, and then I am going to see, yes, I want to create int of with this set of values. let's say 1 2 3 or 1 2 3, right? So now if you see here, we are creating a variable and assigning values to it, right? If you see 1 2 3, and there is a better syntax in Golang. Type in, type interference in Golang. Um, since you don't have to give all of this, just give that. It will take care of statically binding it. Now if you see, we got 1 2 3. This is one way of initializing. Or let's say if we have 100 numbers here and you cannot count. Let's say I have 7 0 20 34 43 22, because this I so I will have a random numbers. I cannot count each and every one. If the numbers are beyond 40, it is hard to count also, right? So that is where if you want to initialize with whatever the number of values you wanted, to find out the size, there is kind of operator, triple dots, basically spread, or different languages call it as different, but you can use this operator, which basically um, what compiler, when the program compiles, the code try to understand this, and hey, it understood that hey, these many values are there, so basically I have to create an array of size, like basically in this case 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? So if you run, this will work. Basically it created an array of size 8 and then it holds some data on it. And we have talked about all of this. We'll talk about this length. To find a length, you just have to give length and len, that's it. So it will give you the length of your array. In our case, it has to be 8, right? So it is 8. Then, so array comparison. This is basically if we have two arrays. Let's say I'll reduce the size to probably 3, and here we will say A equal to B. We are trying to compare A and B arrays. This will be true because all of them matches, right? But what happens if we change it to, let's say, array size 2? It fails saying hey, it's of time int and like 3, and then here 2. If you change, so basically you have to match the data type first, and you then individual elements has to be matched, right? Let's say if I add 4, so even though uh, so types matches, the number of values matches, but still fails because it does not meet the criteria of matching even the values. Okay, that is our array comparison. Now we'll talk about array iteration. Okay, let's say you want to print this numbers. Okay, then how can you want to traverse through this list? So you can do that using a for loop. So for loop, I will leave as it is, I equal to 0, and I want to get length of a and I plus plus. Basically what I am trying to do is I'm looping through the length, and then I'm trying to print um, each value at a different indices. So we'll starting with 0 index, and then we'll go to 1 and 2, and then it prints all of that. And because this is the condition with which has to satisfy, right? So if you see, it will print 1 2 3 because it looped through. There is one better syntax also to handle this. There is range operator. So basically, for index and value and range here can be array, and we can print. Right. Sorry, it has to be the value. Now if you see, it just gives 1 to 3, and let's say I will print index as well. You see, we run, so it gives 0 index, the value is 1. At 0 index 1, value is 2. At index 2, the value is 3. Right? That is like iterations. And then we'll talk about multi-dimensional arrays. So let's say you have a values in such a way that let's say you want to two-dimensional matrix. You want to create two-dimensional or three-dimensional. You can do that like this. Let's say 2 into 2 matrix. Basically, here what you're trying to see. I'll have it 2 columns. So 4. Now if you see, this is one row and this is second row, and if you want to get individual values, this is like, let's say 1 1 and 1 2 1 3 1 4, right? Like, so basically if you think it in a square format, if you want to get 1 2 3 4, what you can do is you can even loop inside this. So basically I'll say j and double the range of v will traverse through v again, and instead of iv this time will say j double. Okay. This can be ignored, so you can ignore using this operator and go. Let's run this again. Yeah, that's all. Sorry, we'll see you later.